that's exciting. How many of you in here are already using Google Slides in your class? Anybody here? Okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, hi, Diana. I recognize you from yesterday. Diana, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Jessica says, not yet. Oh, awesome. For the past week. Well, great. Well, welcome to all. And we are going to learn about the other method of accessing our resources today, which is the planner. So yesterday's session was a beginner session for just using Google Slides and understanding how they work with VIPKid classes and things like that. And then we talked a little bit about SlideKick and stuff. And now I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the planner, but really just the basics of the planner. So we'll get more into that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and get through all this stuff. I'm Megan. Nice to meet you. If you have not ever joined one of my Zooms before, I'm so happy you're here. And let's see, just a little bit about myself. I was a brick and mortar teacher for 5 years. I taught English to some crazy 8th graders who I loved, but now I have a crazy 4-year-old. So I am enjoying my time with him. And before he heads off to kindergarten, let's not talk about it. So then I also am a VIPKid teacher in the morning. So I'm Milo's mom, but I'm also a VIPKid teacher, and I am a TMC. And then I'm an admin in the VIPKid Google Slides group, married my high school sweetheart, and we went to UMHB together, if you've ever heard of that college. It's very tiny in Texas. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Google Slides Zooms, welcome once again. If you are not part, or if you've never attended one before, welcome. They are free and fun, and we host them about every month. We do about 5 or 6, I guess you could say. And they're hosted by the admin team in the Google Slides group, and they're not affiliated with or sponsored by VIPKid, so no tokens. Sorry, guys. No money from me though, because I'm not getting paid. But I enjoy doing them. And then we always record our sessions. So if you, we record them and share them with members who weren't able to attend. So just a fair warning, if you don't want your face being shown, you can turn your camera off if you want. Okay, so these are just some disclaimers for the planner Zoom. So this is a basic session for using the planner. It is the planner is. I really want to just say, just fair warning before we just delve into everything. This is a more advanced way of accessing our resources. So while it's more advanced, I find it to be more efficient. Okay. Now I saw Chuck said in the chat box that he already uses it. So Chuck, if you've used SlideKick before, and you kind of went to using the planner, what was your experience with that? Do you enjoy using the planner more? Or, I mean, you don't have to say, you can type it if you want, or go ahead and unmute if you want to.
Okay, yeah, I actually never used SlideKick until after I had been using the Google Planner.
Okay. So
yeah.
Did you just kind of go into using the planner to begin with, or did you use, like, have you been a member a while and use some of our older ways of accessing things?
No, I've only been with VIPKid for not quite a year.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
but
But you decided to use the planner to start with, right?
Yeah, because I use OBS Studio, and there's a good way to get stuff. So
Yeah, man. And I tell you what, it's really good. The planner is great for people who are using webcam software, but it is great for mobile users as well. So I think that there are benefits no matter which way you look at it. And we'll get into more specifics about why I think that, but it's definitely a more efficient way of accessing resources, but it is a little bit more advanced. Okay. So if you haven't started using Google Slides yet, you might feel overwhelmed. And I want to just throw it out there that you don't have to use the planner to use Google Slides. So yesterday's session I uploaded to YouTube, I think yesterday. And so I'll post that recording soon, but you know, using Google Slides is as simple as opening a link on your mobile device and holding it up to your webcam. So if you've not started using Google Slides yet, this session might be a little scary to you. Don't be scared by it. This is just a more advanced way of accessing our resource bank. Okay, so just throwing it out there. Whoopsie, I clicked a link. Whoops, it doesn't. Hold on, there we go. Okay, so, and I'm still clicking the link. Oh man, I feel like I did this last time and I was like, oh, I need to fix this. Okay, hang on just a second. I gotta X that out, X that out. Okay, let's just use my arrow keys there. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, so here's some Zoom controls in case you need them. We probably won't be sending as much stuff in the chat as we did yesterday's session, but if you need to save the chat, you would do that on a desktop. You can't do it on your mobile device, unfortunately. So, all right, and let's see. Let's get into everything, guys. So what is the Google Slides Planner? First, I want to say SlideKick and the Planner are both ways of accessing our resource bank. And they both contain all of the same resources, okay? So if you're already using SlideKick, then you know what our resources, you know what kind of stuff we have, okay? But SlideKick is, it's a little bit more of a basic way to access everything. You have to search your lesson code. You have to, you know, open things on your mobile device and then try to, like, I don't know, the favorites icon hasn't been working as reliably lately, but you can tap a little icon and it'll save it to your lessons and things like that. That is more of a manual way of prepping for classes. Would y'all agree? You have to search for things and then open them and then decide on what you want, yada, yada. But the Google Slides Planner is a little bit different because it is your own Google Sheet, okay, which is different than Google Slides. It's your own Google Sheet. So think of Excel, Microsoft Excel, a spreadsheet. And it allows you to input your schedule, and you don't do this manually. It's very simple. You copy and paste your classes from your Classrooms tab right in the VIPKid portal. You just drag and highlight the text of that tab and copy your schedule or your classes for the day and go to your planner, switch over to your planner on your desktop and paste it. And so when you input your schedule and you click start, it does some cool magic stuff and it brings in everything that we have for your lessons. So it kind of lists out everything according to your lessons. So it takes that manual part out where you're not having to sit there and type, you know, animals I know, MC-L2, all that stuff. You don't have to type, you know, or search for our resources because the planner does the searching for you. And so that's really the basic function of the planner. It does get a little bit more advanced. There are tabs that are more advanced that we don't really touch on in this session. I think I have a recording of one of our previous advanced sessions, but I alternate every month. So I do an advanced one month, the next month I do it beginners. But it can also track your students, your regular students. You can put their photos in there. You can, you know, remember what rewards you used with them in all of your previous classes. And it also keeps record of your favorites, kind of like SlideKick does, where you tap that little heart button. It allows you to actually kind of prep ahead and let you save favorites for every single lesson. So you can save you know, a favorite prop for a certain lesson and save your favorite reward. But then you can also save your favorite feedback template. That's one of my favorite features, is that you can customize those feedback templates that you find in SlideKick. You know, we all add some sentences here and there, you know, and take out some typos and fix things. But then you find yourself doing those same modifications every single time. And that was starting to get quite mundane for me, you know. And so on one tab in your planner, there's a favorites tab, and you can actually save your changes that you made to that template And the next time that you input that lesson, or the next time you have that lesson on your schedule, it will populate your feedback template, but it generates the student's name in there. So that's the other cool thing, is that it doesn't have that placeholder, that bracket name bracket thing. So those are a little bit more advanced. We're going to touch on the basics today on how to input your schedule, how to get all the resources into your planner, and how to open links and things like that. So, okay. Yeah, I basically just said it. We're going to cover these basic functions today, okay? It looks like, let's see. I think we might not have, okay, send your questions in the chat box, okay? However, just disclaimer, I am like very, I really can't keep the chat box open because I did yesterday, but only because I knew Heather was there. But I get really off track when I do that. So send your questions in the chat box, and I will take little breaks and we'll answer them. But know that we are going to, at the end of the session, have some Q&A time, and you'll be able to have like a practice planner, and you can try out everything that I show you that the planner can do. Okay. So, all right. Are we ready? I think we're ready to get started here. Okay. So when you are ready to, like officially get the planner, okay, you would want to go to the slide guide, and that is the link in announcements. And in that only link in announcements, you'll find like a section under the access resources. You'll see it'll say like access resources planner, and you would click there. And under that, you would find all of the tutorials organized by tabs. So the planner, once again, is a spreadsheet. So all of the tabs at the bottom have different functions, okay? We're gonna see that in action here in just a minute. But this that I'm about to show you, this is what if you, go to this session and decide, you know what, I think I'm going to try to, get the planner maybe a little bit later. We are really on how do I say this? We're almost done. We can see the finish line. We're revamping our slide guide. And so it's going to look completely different, and it's just more simplified. So you might see this. So basically it's the same thing, but when you open up the slide guide, you will be prompted to go through all of these things that I'm telling you now, so you can kind of just skip through them. But one important thing to note is that the planner is different than SlideKick in that in order to get a planner, you have to pass a quiz, which is insane. I know, I do understand. And I know a lot of people kind of get a little frustrated because it's not just any old quiz. It's not one of the VIPKid certification quizzes that are surprisingly hard now. I feel like they used to be quite easy, but now they're kind of hard. But it is a little bit, it requires that you do have some knowledge of the planner, because we used to just give the planner link out like willy-nilly. Everybody get a planner, go on ahead. Here's the document, make a copy, take it. However, what was happening was our moderators, myself, just the whole admin team, we were just getting bombarded with in the group, just question after question after question after question about the planner. And that's okay to ask questions in the group. However, the questions were about things that they should have kind of already knew if they had watched the tutorials. So we decided to kind of implement something to be a buffer, right? So in order to get the planner, you don't have to pay any money. It is free, but you do have to answer not 9 questions. I think it's like 8. But you have to answer all of them correctly. And it's a little tricky because whenever you submit the form, it doesn't tell you what you got wrong. It doesn't tell you your score or anything. So it's just, you got it right if you get that email back. However, at the end of this session, you should be able to answer all of those questions easy peasy. So then this is what you would see in the slide guide. These are all of the tutorials listed out by tabs. So as you can see, their numbers 1 through 6 are bolded. This means that they're required for that quiz, okay? You need to know about these tabs in order to pass that quiz, okay? And then 7, 8, 9, and 10 is actually part of the requirements too. But 7, 8, and 9, the favorites and the students and the classes, those are more advanced, and we're not requiring that you know anything about those. And you probably can tell that we don't require it because that's the questions we get in the group about the planner are usually about these tabs. So just know that you can always go back to the slide guide and check out, you know, how to use some of those more advanced features. So whenever I am ready to start learning about the planner, I would click Get a Practice Planner and start at number 1. And this is what you would click right here. Now, practice planners don't generate actual resources, so you might get a little confused because it's just going to show you a bunch of GIFs and weird things. It's not, they're not actual resources, okay? But it's the same document, it just doesn't pull any actual stuff in. It's for you to practice with. Today, I'm actually going to show you how to I'm going to show you how to use the planner. I'm using the master planner. So I'm using the one that you would get once you pass the quiz. So you'll see actual resources and feedback and things like that. Okay, whew. Questions so far before we dive into this? When you click, and you can send them in the chat or unmute, but when you click the button right here that says you click here to use your practice planner, this is the screen you would see after you click that button. You would see this screen right here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is click Make a Copy. Like I said, the planner is a spreadsheet, so it's one document. The master is owned by me. I made it, so you have to copy mine. So once you click Make a Copy, you would go over, it'll open up a new tab and it'll look like this. And voila, this is the planner. So as you can see, we've got buttons up here in the second row. You can kind of see it says Reset Planner button, Start Planner button, and Save Planner button. Each of these 3 buttons are very important. They do different things. So I've numbered them to kind of prompt everyone. These are the steps you should take. And you should be pushing all 3 of these buttons every day, once every day. Because whenever you are prepping for your classes using the planner, much like SlideKick, you don't really want to go too many days in advance because sometimes lesson numbers change, right? And bookings change and things like that. So you only want to prep really 1 day at a time. That's what I recommend. Karen, yes, it can be renamed for sure. So let's rename it. I would click up here. And since this is my document now, I can see that it's in my drive. And I can also see that over here, it's private only to me. So I'm the only one that can view it, okay? And actually, you're reminding me, I need to share my whole desktop. So 1 second, because there are going to be some, there we go. Okay, sharing desktop. Okay, you're going to need to see some of the pop-ups that come up, okay? So yes, you can rename it. So I'm going to rename it My Planner. And I like to type, I often will type the date that I made the copy. I don't know, that's just a thing I have. So I know when I last copied the master in case there was some kind of update or something, I would want to know, you know, when did I make my copy of my planner? Okay. And so first step I'm going to take is I need to get this schedule. As you can see, these are classes, right? And they're kind of structured like they are in the VIPKid app. That's because I copied them from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear all that out. I'm not going to backspace text or anything like that. What I'm going to do is press this button. I'm going to press Reset Planner, and let me go ahead and I'm going to spotlight my mouse so you guys can see where I'm clicking. So I'm going to click this button, and when I do that, you're going to see this little green pop-up thing start running, and this means that it's working. However, the first time that you make a copy of a practice planner or your real planner, it's going to need some thinking time, okay? And what it's going to do is give you this pop-up right here. It says authorization required. So the planner works on scripts, which are, they're basically like different codes that are embedded into your planner, or macros. So basically things that you can make your planner do without you having to actually do them. All right, so I'm going to hit continue. And whenever I hit continue, it's going to ask me, okay, what account do you want to use, or what account do you want to authorize this with? So I would want to click the account that is matching that little bubble over here under my same account, okay? And then I would click my account, and now it's going to be like really scary looking, and you're going to think, what is going on? It's okay. This is actually normal because I don't have the planner scripts published to the Chrome web store. I just don't see a need for going through all that, and I don't want to learn it. So I'm going to hit advanced, okay? That's how you're going to get to where you need to go. That's one of the planner questions on the quiz. So ding, 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 just make sure you're paying attention right now, because this is one of the quiz questions, is asking when you are authorizing your buttons, what should you do when this pop-up comes up? Like, should you click back to safety, or should you click advanced? Click advanced, and you're going to select this right here. Note that it says unsafe in parentheses right here. The only reason it's saying that is because it's not published to the Chrome web store. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down all the way down and click allow. And this basically authorizes yourself, okay, to run the planner scripts. It is a document owned by you. Remember that we kind of looked over here, and this little button it's private only to you. So this means that you're really authorizing yourself, okay? So it's going to do a lot of stuff. My video is probably going kind of slow right now, or my audio might be lagging, but I'm not touching my mouse. It did all that on its own. So whenever you click reset, what happens to your planner is it takes everything from this little first tab right here, this red input tab. It takes out all of the whole schedule that was in there, and it starts a fresh new day. Okay, so you can input your next day's classes. Okay, so the reset button is something that I usually press. This is the first thing I do to prep for classes. I reset it. The last thing that I do before I reset, I always click save, just in case I want to record those classes onto my classes tab. But really, that's a more advanced feature, so you really don't have to use that. Okay, so I've got a fresh, clean input tab. And remember, the input schedule tab, this is the place where I'm going to put my schedule, okay? I don't want to type my schedule. I don't want to have to search everything in Sidekick. I am just going to simply open the VIPKid app, and I'm going to highlight my classes on my classrooms tab. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm going to open up, y'all can see my desktop, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, wait a second. Did I just do all of that and y'all didn't see any of it? Okay, so here's the VIPKid app. So I am going to, let's see, I'm going to click refresh because, it looks like I've been away a while. And a couple of little tips here for you guys. Honestly, I always zoom out during class, because I make my app window a little bit smaller. So I always have it zoomed out. And this is better, honestly, because if you are too zoomed in, and let's say you're like zoomed in 100%, and maybe this right here is cut off. You see that? And so when you go to copy your schedule, like drag and highlight all of that text, it might give you some problems. So I just always like to tell people that are first learning the planner, and I do kind of mention it a little bit in some of the tutorial videos, zoom out a little bit. The way that the app is set up now is a little bit different than it was whenever I filmed the last tutorial. So yeah, so just might want to zoom out a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just click once. I'm going to click and hold my mouse button down. And I'm starting over here on the first day, and I'm going to just drag and I'm going to highlight. Let's just do my 3 classes for this evening. And I'm going to hit on my keyboard. I'm going to copy this text right here. Now, if you don't use keyboard shortcuts, now is the time to kind of get in the habit of using them. I recommend using keyboard shortcuts. So to copy this text on my keyboard, I would use Command or Control C to copy. Now, if you're used to right-clicking on your mouse, you can do that. However, I have found that it's a little bit unreliable at times. So especially when you're doing it from the app. So I would just say to use your keyboard shortcut Control C to copy. And then I'm going to go back to my planner because I want to just paste all of that info. I just want to paste it into my planner. So same thing for your planner. Make sure you're zoomed out a little bit. If your window is too small on your, really, your screen is really small on your laptop or whatever the case is, and you can't see, those columns that you need to see to input things, then you might run into some pasting problems, okay? So I'm gonna hit Command or Control V. That's like violin, V. Okay, and as you can see, when I pasted it, it's going to show me basically what is in my portal, right here and right there. So I've got my classes pasted, and now I don't have to go in and type everything to go find it, in SlideKick. But I still don't have any resources yet. All I've done is pasted my schedule, right? So my next step would be then to, if you want to just keep it simple and use the basics, the next step would be to hit Start Planner, okay? Now let's say maybe Alan, his name is not actually Alan. Maybe in the portal it's wrong, and his name is not Alan, it's Bob. Okay, so over here in this column where it says nickname, I can give them a nickname. And when I give them a nickname, what happens is the feedback templates, they're generated with the name Bob instead of with Alan, okay? So that's just for example. I'm gonna go ahead and not call him Bob though. Okay, so next step would be then to start planner because I wanna get all those resources and I wanna not have to look it up. So I'm gonna hit start. And I'm gonna let it do its thing. And it's gonna take a second the first few times. The more you run your planner, oops, there we go. The more that you run your planner, it tends to get a little bit quicker each time. So now you can see that I'm not on the save tab anymore. It didn't land me on the tab that I was on. It brought me automatically to all of my resources available for my classes, which all of those can be found on your planner tab. So on your planner tab, you'll see hyperlinks right here. So I can see all my props are in these columns, and then all of my extension rewards. If I just use my arrow key, I can just go over. I can see extension rewards for all of my lessons. And then I can see lesson notes, and I can see website rewards. That's actually something that's not in SlideKick, but useful, very useful for webcam software users. So now I'm going to also see that these columns right here are blank, and they should be blank, okay? These columns are columns that you fill up because they are lookups for your favorites. And then also column I, this is your selected reward. This is something that you will choose. Now, it's really, really, really important to stress this because it is a quiz question. Okay, so second quiz question. I actually think it is number 2. Your planner tab is view only, always. You never type on it. You never edit the text. Just don't ever double click into any cell. When I say cell, I mean box. All right. So like this is a cell. It's outlined in blue. If I double click, and let's say I just decide I'm going to type here, and I don't really want this prop. I don't like it. So I'm going to just backspace it. And let's say I do that. I'm being a rebel right now, and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to tell me to not do it, but maybe you're like me, and anytime a pop-up comes up, you're just like, go away, okay, whatever. Now, when I do that, you will see, well, maybe it's not going to do it. Oh, that's right. I have to edit the text. Okay, so if I want to edit this text, now I'm going to see that I've got this error, right? Okay, it's going to show me when I do something wrong. So just remember, your planner tab, it's view only. And a quick way, the first troubleshooting step, anytime something goes wrong in your planner, Control Z, okay? Or just undo right over here. Okay, so now I've got all of these links and you're probably, maybe wondering how do I open these? Like I see all this stuff, but how do I open it? Well, if you're a mobile user, let's say you use your phone to hold up to the webcam, you would open these links from your mobile device, okay? Now, if you're on your desktop and you're kind of prepping and you're just looking around and seeing which props do you like the most, then what you can do is click on one of the boxes that you want to open, and you'll see this little white pop-up, and you can actually click it. And when you click it, you're going to see the prop side open up. Now, this is a huge file. I'm going to X that out. Okay. And same thing. So I can just click this little white button and it'll open up. So you can kind of preview all of the different props and rewards that we have for that lesson and decide on which one you like. Another cool trick that you can use is Alt-Enter. Okay, Alt-Enter. This is on my keyboard, it's Alt-Enter. That's Windows. I have a Mac, but I have a Windows keyboard. So I think on Macs, it's Alt-Option, maybe? Alt-Option, I think. But if I hit Alt-Enter on my keyboard, it'll open up a link as well. So I don't have to find that little white flag and open it up, okay? So now what I want to do next is I would then decide, this is before class, obviously, I would then decide on what I want to use and decide on what my links, what links I want to open and things like that. I can browse through these extension rewards, but let's say that I don't really use extension rewards. Maybe I like to appeal to student interests. And so the next thing would be to select rewards for your students, okay? So you can go over to your rewards tab, and this is a very large tab, okay? And here's another answer to one of the planner quiz questions. Here's the thing. This tab right here and any of the tabs below are like at the bottom. You cannot delete any of the tabs, okay? The scripts that make these buttons work, they work on those tabs. They need those tabs to be there, or they'll panic, right? And they just won't work. The buttons won't work. So if you delete any tabs, they won't work. If you move any tabs, they won't work. So just keep all of your tabs down at the bottom. Always keep them in that order. Don't rearrange them or click this little arrow and say delete. Don't do it, okay? It'll make your planner not work. So I'm gonna go over to the rewards because I'm ready to start prepping for rewards, okay? I wanna see what rewards are new, okay? So the newest rewards will be at the top. This is the first 30. Those will be at the top. And then the next ones are going to be below it, are going to be alphabetized, just like in SlideKick, okay? So I have 3 students that I want to prep rewards for, okay? So the first one is a trial student. And so I would probably just use something pretty basic. So let's say I decide I want to use this Yays and Praise Tap and Reveal. What I would want to do is copy. I'm just using Control or Command C, copying that link, okay? And then I'm going to paste it next to this corresponding student that I wanted to be assigned to or selected for. And then I would hit Control V. So that's pasting, Control V. Okay, and so now whenever I do that, what I'm going to see instantly on my planner tab, I'm going to see that now Xiao T, I think, Xiao T is going to have that reward right there selected for him, okay? Or her, I'm not sure. Okay, so then I would go and do the same thing for all of my students. So maybe I don't want to use one of these extension rewards. What I can do is I can search for one. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, thanks, Heather. Hi, Heather. You're here. Yeah, great question, Gretchen. Okay, so basically, if you want to search for something, the next step you would take is you would SlideKick, you can search. You have a little search bar. It's pretty easy. You just tap the search bar and type in what do you want. Well, on a spreadsheet, it's a little different because it's a spreadsheet, and so you're going to have to use the keyboard shortcut Control F. Pretty easy to remember. Find, right? So Control or Command F, it's going to bring up a little search bar for you. So then let's say I want to use for Alan, he is, let's see, doing homes lesson. So maybe I want to type in house, okay? Using 1 or 2 keywords is a really good rule of thumb. 1 or 2 keywords only. And as you can see, look at how my results are just like, they're increasing. So now you want to look at your results, right? So the next step would then be to use like these little arrow buttons right here, or you can use enter. I just use enter on my keyboard. And as you can see, it's going to filter through all of those results. And it's kind of hard to see because it's down here at the bottom. Let me move it up a bit. So you can use arrow keys right here. I'm clicking. Notice the row number is changing over here. So I want to do, funny houses. Okay, Alan's funny. He'll like that. Okay. So then obviously I would open it up, look through it. I always recommend previewing everything that you use in class. Okay. So let's say I looked at it. It's really good. I want to use it. Same steps as the ones that were up at the top. I would select the box and I would hit Control C. Notice I'm just clicking once on this box, okay? I'm not double clicking to edit the text or anything. I'm just clicking once and I'm using Control C to copy that link. And then I'm going to go back up to the top because if you notice, look, all of those students are gone on the left side. That's because you're on row 1,316. Okay, so you got to go back up to the top. And so I'm going to use this button up here and I'm going to jump back up to the top. And so that's pretty quick and easy way to jump back up to the top because maybe you don't want to scroll for a really long time. That's a lot of scrolling. So now I'm going to go to Alan and I'm going to just use Control V to paste that link next to Alan's name. And there we go. And I can see that reflected on my planner tab now. So now it's on my planner tab. And for Sam, let's see, I've done, oh yes, dogs. Oh yes, okay, I've done that one before. That one's cute. Okay, so I'm Control C, I'm copying that reward link and I'm pasting it, okay? So if you're a mobile user, let's say you are really used to SlideKick and you know how everything works with it and this is a big change for you. This is the thing. The planner, you do have to prep on your desktop. I saw somebody ask in the chat box earlier about running the scripts on your iPad. You have to actually get onto your computer to copy your schedule and paste it and hit those buttons. Your buttons typically don't work in your mobile browser. There are some little hacks and stuff. So I could stick around afterwards and tell you how to do it because I prep my planner on my phone. I do. But for everybody, this is a beginner session. I'm going to tell you, you need to open it on your desktop. You need to be on a computer for everything to work and run smoothly. So I've got my rewards selected. My prop links are all on my planner tab. Everything's on my planner tab that I need to click during class, right? All of these links right here, I need during class. But here's the issue. If you are using webcam software, no problem for you because you can just have your document open on your desktop. But if you are a mobile user, this is problematic. You're like, okay, I prep on my desktop, but how do I get the links on my phone? So here's what you would do next. This is your next step, okay? So I have what I want on my planner tab. All of your links are in one tab. That's the point of it, is so that you can quickly open one thing on your phone and have all of your links right there, okay? So my next step would then to be, for if I was a mobile user, I'm just throwing it out there. If I was a mobile user, I'm going to click this email planner button, okay? So when I click that, let me whip out my phone real quick. It's going to say running script, and I am going to get an emailed PDF document, okay, of this tab, and it's going to look exactly like that. So let me share my screen here to you and show you that. So if I was a mobile user, I would open up my, okay, there we go, share. Oh yeah, I've got to turn on my Wi-Fi. Forgot about that. Okay. So now I can see on my phone. Here we go. So I'm going to open up my Gmail app or whatever. You can open up your mail app, whatever. And when I do that, I'm going to see some, there we go, right here. So it should just say planner. That's the title. That's the subject of the email. It says planner. Okay, very basic. Although I could have sworn there it is. Okay. So whenever I click on it, yeah, I did put a little nice sweet message there too, just to brighten your day. But there's my planner right there, and I have it on my device. And so now I can click this and it will open up my planner on my device. And this way, whenever I zoom in, I can quickly tap what I need to tap to open it, okay? So I think if I tap hold on, let me see. There we go, awesome. So if I just tap the link, I can now see it on Safari. It opened in Safari. I'm using an iPhone, okay? But I think on Androids, it should just open in Chrome. But now I have my stuff ready and it's in my browser, and so I can have it. This is my mobile device once again. I can have it right here ready to use in class. And whenever I want to go back to open something else, I would just use my task switcher on my phone, just switch back to maybe the props over here and open up a prop file. Okay, so that's the connection between the planner and then mobile users too, okay? So I have all of those links on my device. That's the cool thing. So really all I did was copied my schedule from the portal. I pasted it onto, let me stop sharing. I'll share my desktop again. That's really all that I did. I just had pasted my schedule and I clicked start. And then on my planner tab, I can see my props or links are all ready. So I didn't have to find them in SlideKick. And then I selected rewards for each of my students on the rewards tab. Okay, that's another one of the planner quiz questions. It's something like, what tab can you use to search and find and select rewards for your students? Well, it is in fact the Google Slides rewards tab. So that would be everything I do before class. Okay, that's it. And then what I would do after class or maybe between classes, I would check out my feedback templates available for my classes. So as you can see at the bottom, there's a tab for feedback. So let's check that one out. We've got about just a few minutes left, okay? And then we'll go into that Q&A part. But on the feedback tab, you will see some blank columns here at first, okay? And that should be there because you don't have any favorite feedback saved yet, okay? So these should be blank, but if I use my arrow keys and just keep on going, you can see all of those feedback templates that are in SlideKick. You can find them right here in your planner. However, does anybody notice the cool part about what the planner does versus SlideKick? What's different? These are the same exact templates. Thanks, Chuck. Yes, you're correct. It instead of it doesn't have that name, the bracket name bracket thing anymore. It doesn't show that. It automatically generates your student's name into the template for you. So that takes out a whole lot of time in and of itself, because I don't know about y'all, but I was just kind of tired of finding all those names and backspacing and typing the name. That saved me a whole lot of time just alone. So I can just search or just use my arrow keys. I'm just using arrow keys to kind of go through these feedback templates and look and see which one I would want to use. Now let's see, says right up here, and this is something for the advanced session, but I just want to throw it out there to entice you to learn about the favorites tab. Good question, Gretchen. I'll get to that, and unless Heather beats me. But if you want to save, like I was talking about earlier, you know how you add your own little sign off, or you fix some of the typos that you find, or you add your own smart sentences, maybe from something that you already wrote for that lesson. You can find all of the edits that you make to these templates. You will find them automatically reflected on your favorites tab for a quick save, so that next time you can see your favorite feedback generated in those columns right here. So the reason these first two columns are blank, once again, the reason those are blank is just because you haven't put anything in there yet. So let's say I do want to use this template right here for Xiao-Ti, and so I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts again. I'm just going to hit Control-C to copy all that text, and I'm going to go over here. Let's say it was a girl, so I'm going to Control-V. I'm going to paste it there. V, violin. Okay, so now I might want to say that I'm just for time purposes, I'm going to just put edited this one. Let's say that I made changes to this template. Okay, I hit enter. After I make any change to any text on the feedback tab, which, by the way, the feedback tab is the first tab I've mentioned. Editing anything, just so you know, it's a-okay to type on your feedback tab. All of this text is editable. So go to town on it. Customize all those templates. I highly recommend that. And so let's say I edited this and I didn't click out of it. Do y'all notice how my cursor is like still blinking there, like I'm still typing? This means that my changes that I've just typed are not saved to the box yet. Okay, so in order to save those changes that I just typed, I would need to click out of that box. Okay, and now I'll see it there. Now if I just double click and leave it up like this during class, or I walk away in between classes and it's open like this, the box is open. That's kind of how I think of it. It's like this box is open right now. You might come back and you might see that actually none of your changes saved, and it's because your planner either something happened and your planner refreshed or something. I don't know. Sometimes if I leave this up like this and maybe I click over to another tab, when I come back, it's not open anymore, and none of my changes are there anymore. So just make sure that you are clicking out of the box or using enter to go down to the next one before you walk away or go do something else. The reason that there are some links here is because in Sidekick, you know, there's a button and it says contribute or correct a template. You know, and in Sidekick, you can quickly contribute your own template to be added to our bank. Well, Planner is a little different because it doesn't have that handy button there. So what we do is on all of the blank or empty feedback templates that don't show in Sidekick, they do show in the Planner though, which ones we don't have templates for. So we just put our link to it, like contribute. So if you opened this link, it'll take you to this form where you can send your contributions. So yeah, so that's why there's a link there. So I would then take this template and I would go and put it into the portal. I suggest making all of your changes to your feedback templates. A lot of people, like I know on Sidekick, you can't edit anything. So you just copy that template, you paste it into the portal, and then make your changes. I suggest for planner users, make your changes directly onto your planner tab. And here's why. If you go and make edits in the portal and then leave like this original text in your planner tab, you're kind of missing out on some cool aspects of the favorites tab, because anything that you type in any of these templates is immediately shown on your favorites tab. And this makes for a very quick save. So let's say that I want to save that template that I just edited. I could go over to my favorites tab and I can actually click right here on this lesson. I can select a lesson that's on my planner tab. And I would click on this lesson. It's going to show me everything my planner currently has for that lesson. And so notice that, oh, look, there's my edits right there. So anything you make, anything you change to those feedback templates that are generated on your feedback tab will be shown for you to quickly save for next time. So the way that I would save that for next time is to think of your favorites tab as your own personal like resource bank, right? It's your own Sidekick, so you can save all your favorites and your links and everything. And then next time your planner will know, okay, oh, she's got this lesson on her schedule. Check, she has a link for that one, a link for this, and a feedback template for it, and it'll pull it in for you. So instead of going to find this lesson to save it down below, save everything I want down below, I can use this button to find it for me. So I can click this button and it's going to take me to the correct lesson, which is all the way down here. Wow. So then what I would do is copy and paste, Control C, Control V. That's like literally the whole planner, Control C, Control V. Okay. So I went going to save this trial pack as my favorite, and I would put it right over here. And then I'm going to save this as the reward, like it worked really well with that lesson, so I'm going to save it right there. And then this feedback template, I like it. I made some good changes, and it's not too student specific, so I'm going to save it right here. So I'm just using Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. So now I've designated favorites for this one lesson, okay? And the cool thing is that now I can actually go over to my planner tab and see all of my favorites right there for that lesson. And so now they're showing up. And even if I reset my planner and cleared it all out, and then I put this lesson in again, or this same schedule in again, I wouldn't have to do that step next time because I'll already have it done. Does that make sense, kind of? The favorites tab is my favorite, and I usually teach more on it in the advanced session, but I'll always like to give a little bit of a preview of it in the beginner's session. So you can complete, that's really the last step of the beginner session. You complete your feedback on your feedback tab, and then you can save favorites if you want to. And then what I would do is I would click Save Planner. Note that this button, Save Planner, it's only meant to be clicked once. It's not like the old floppy disk kind of save where it saves all of your changes. This Save button is a little bit different because what it does is it takes everything that's on your planner tab and records it onto your classes tab. So if you're clicking this button like a million times a minute, you know, every single change you make, then you're going to have a lot of duplicate records because it takes everything from your planner tab and pastes it into your classes. Oh, Janet, good question. So on the favorites tab, right here, it says find this lesson code. It's right there underneath that drop down. So same thing, same deal here. So if I clicked this, I could click this button and it's going to find what's in the drop down box. Okay. So I can click that and it's going to search. And this is just for convenience. So you don't have to go scroll around and look for everything. Okay. Yes, Gretchen, good question. So if you are hitting that save button and you end up having a bunch of duplicates, then what you can do is you can remove them. And so let me just go ahead and save it. That would be my last step. I'm going to save my planner. So it's going to take everything I did, and I'm going to see it all on my classes tab right here. So notice that it took me to my classes tab. But if I say I click this twice, right? Like, oh no, I clicked it twice and now have all of these duplicates, which I don't want, because that's going to confuse the planner a little bit. When you start tracking and getting into some of those more advanced features, you want to really only have like unique records for class times. So what I would do is I'd actually go through and I'd have to delete. So I'm going to delete the whole row. Okay, so what I did is I clicked on this number 2 right here, and I right clicked to bring up these options, and I would delete that row or record. Okay, so I would go in and delete all those duplicates. Okay, or alternatively, actually, let me check out something. Google Sheets recently updated and allowed for people to remove duplicates. So let me try something real quick. So I can click on data, I think, and nope. Was it data? It should be remove duplicates. There it is right there. That should be able to remove some of those duplicates, although this is a little bit advanced, but you would want to only look at class time, right? Because class time is the unique factor here. Once you start having a bunch of classes on your classes tab, you're going to have more than one Sam and more than one Alan, and that's okay. But to have like a bunch of duplicate class times, like date and time, which is in column E, that's problematic. So you want to, I'm going to uncheck all of those. I'm going to select only column E, okay? And then maybe I'm going to hit remove duplicate, and there we go. Yay, cool. So it took all those duplicates out. There's a quick way to do it. How would I add in an S in class once I've already prepped? Great question, Val. Because I actually shorten, I don't know if y'all noticed that, but I short notice all pretty much. I do accept some PVs, but I don't really much anymore. But if I have a short notice class pop up at the last minute, just paste it on in there, okay? So watch this. I'm gonna do this, and ooh, I have a level 7 tomorrow, yay. So I'm gonna hit Control C to copy, and then I would go back to my input schedule, and I would paste it. And then I would click start. Now that start button is going to pull in more resources. It's also going to possibly clear out your, look on your feedback tab. I bet it's, oh, awesome. Okay, well, I already saved my favorite feedback, so you can see my favorite feedback is now populating for that lesson. But remember, I edited that template, so it's actually not showing any of my edits anymore. And this is because I hit that start button again, okay? So if you have a short notice class added, or maybe something changes on your bookings even, maybe a lesson number changed, you would make that correction, and this is one of the quiz questions. This is one of the hardest quiz questions too, I might add. You would go back to your input schedule tab, make the change there. So maybe this is not the right level or lesson. I would have to double click, and I can edit that text if I want to, or I can just repaste my schedule and make the change. And the only way to see those changes reflected on your planner tab and your feedback and your rewards tab, to see all those changes reflected throughout your whole planner, you have to hit the start button, or you can alternatively, you can hit the, there's a refresh button right there. Okay, and the refresh button will bring in everything according to the lesson codes that you currently have in now. So if you change any of those lesson codes or student names or things like that. So the refresh all button and the start button, both of those, they're pretty much one and the same. So it just clears out what's in there and pulls in everything from the resource bank again. Okay. Okay. How do we get back to the top? Oh, so Chuck, on the favorites tab, since this row right here, 15, since this row is frozen, meaning I can see that little weird gray line right there. You see that? It's the favorites tab, everything stays at the top. Okay. So all of those links and everything, it stays at the top for me. And so that way I can quickly just copy paste. But on the rewards tab, there's a little arrow up button. So that's how to jump back up to the top on the rewards tab. So, so if I'm all the way, like way down here, and I need to go and put this up there next to my student's name, I can just click that little button up there instead of scrolling. So, and notice that that start button did not clear out my rewards that I selected. So Val, it is important to note, and this happens to me sometimes, it is important to note that if you have a class time, a class that occurs between two class times already prepped for, the planner will organize that stuff by time. And so your selected rewards might be thrown off a little bit. I hope that makes sense, but I mean, you'll experience it if it does happen. Okay, any questions about any of this stuff really so far? I know it's a lot of information. And like I said, guys, if you're just starting with Google Slides, it will feel so overwhelming. But it is, like I said, a lot easier or a lot more efficient, really. It's not really easier at all. It's more efficient and more advanced, but it's quicker than searching Sidekick. So Amy, my next advanced class will probably be, maybe
I didn't
beginning
see
of
one.
March.
March. Okay.
Yeah, I alternate them. So what I'll do like a beginner session and then 1 month and then an advanced session the next month. So, but I think I have a recording for the last advanced one that I did. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the link to this presentation to you guys. And in this presentation, what you'll see on these two, this is on slide number 10. Okay, so when I send you this link, go to slide number 10, and you'll see these hyperlinks for you. So you can go ahead and just really quickly click and get a practice planner, and then you can complete that request form, okay? Everything that we've gone over today is what's on the planner quiz. So if you have any issues though, feel free to message me if you would like. And thank you guys so much for coming today. And this is just connect with me on social media. Tips are welcomed and appreciated. And I really, really hope that y'all enjoyed this, and feel free to stick around and ask any questions that you might have. There's the link to the presentation. So that would be on slide 10 is where those links are for the practice planner and for the form. Yeah. So, Amy, good question. Yeah, and this is the end. This is the end. So I think I showed you guys how to, to start a new day. So I saved my planner, right? To start a new day, the next set of classes, I would hit reset. And that just clears everything out again. So I don't have any of those selected rewards hanging out over there still, in there, and none of those feedback templates and things like that. It's just completely cleared out. Now
my question was more like, do you keep that for, I saw on Facebook that it was like recommended like maybe monthly where those students is it
it's
okay to keep
tab. It's the classes tab. And because that's something I recommended, I think in one of the tutorial videos, but
okay.
The thing is that if you already use the planner and you're clicking that save classes button every time, like every day you click save classes, do you do that already? So what you're probably seeing, I don't know if you've looked on your classes tab, but I bet there's probably quite a few records on there. Maybe not, but the newest planner has written into the code, it has the ability to, it will clear out unnecessary text. A long time ago, it used to just take all of the text from the planner tab and paste it to your classes tab. So you had all of this extra data, extra text hanging out on your classes tab that wasn't really necessary. And all of that extra stuff really bogged the planner down after a while, okay? So I think in my planner, I have about 400 rows on there.
Okay.
And I mean, and I don't notice a difference in speed or anything like that. But really, it's recommended to begin a new sheet each month. Yes, kind of, but I really don't recommend. I don't recommend that to start over with a new planner. I recommend doing something like maybe going to your classes tab and cleaning that up a little bit. Because if you're already clicking save, you're probably familiar with the classes tab a little bit, and you know all of the text here is editable. So this favorite feedback stuff right here, that's a lot of text, and you can clear all that out if you don't really care about looking at your previous feedback, you know. So
yeah, I don't. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, like, I might look at it if I was like, what did I tell them
exactly,
like 2 classes ago? But like,
right.
I don't care 2 months ago. It's like,
exactly. So what I would recommend doing is just then you can select the whole rows right there, and when you do that, it'll allow you, if you hold down your shift key, you can select like a bunch of rows at a time. So what I often do is I go back like all the way back, you know, to the oldest records that I have, and I can right click and delete those rows. And that will remove those previous rewards from that class. So
okay,
from
that makes
student.
sense. Okay.
But it's okay. I mean, I know that there's an issue with, and then this will be on the next update. I've kind of started on it already, but you know how if you're using the classes tab and you're hitting save and doing the right steps every day, you'll start to see those previous rewards growing, and they're huge and they're very big and annoying. And there's those line breaks. So if you forgot to select a reward on your rewards tab, and then there's like a blank line in there. So all of those long previous reward lists are going to be like all one line. Like you'll see the text and not see those blank lines anymore, so it won't be as big. But yeah, all of this the classes tab, that's what pulls in those previous rewards. Yeah. So
Megan, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
So I've kind of already saved multiple times the planner. So what I'm understanding, once I email it, right, I'm going to have it here on my device. I click and my reward's going to be there. So there's no need for Cake anymore because I've been using Google Slides. No.
Yeah. Really what it's going to do, what device do you have?
iPhone.
Okay. So you probably will still want that browser on your phone. The only thing is that, it's going to open in Safari, right? Yeah, that's what because once you click from, that's a good point. So what it'll do is, once you tap the link, it'll open in Safari. Does the toolbar in Safari really bother you? I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as much. And good point, Heather. Yeah, you might try that. Try to open your planner in Cake. I always forget about that. I always forget about that. You can go to in Cake, go to drive.google.com. And then you'll see your planner document right there. When you click it, it'll open in a new tab.
Okay. I'll try that. Okay.
I love Cake, and I taught that yesterday, and it's way easy to use, and it's full screen. That's what I love about it. But Safari is going to really take over whatever you try to open from like your mail app or from Gmail. It will really try to take over it. So
I'll try to figure out how to do that. My other question is, like, if I have a reward, I emailed myself a reward and a prop, how do you toggle between the two of them in one device?
Using separate tabs in your browser. So just kind of like we went over yesterday with the once you tap open link, like in Sidekick, and it opens up in that new tab,
right?
You would have to toggle between tabs. So that's really the only way is to have multiple tabs open. And if you have any Google apps installed on your device, then what you're going to experience is it's going to, do you ever see it open in that yellow icon thing?
No.
No?
I've
Okay, so
never
you took
seen
those
that
off.
before.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. But once you tap open link, it will open up in your browser. And if you tap open link again from either your planner or from Sidekick or from, you know, the PDF of your planner, anytime you open up a link, it's going to open up in a new tab in your browser, whatever
In the
browser it opened.
Okay. Okay.
So just look for that little tab button in your browser. It's usually 2 squares,
Yep,
and
I'll
it's
see it.
usually
Okay.
at the bottom, and it'll show you all of your open tabs, and you can toggle between those two.
Gotcha. Okay. And one last question.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
planner, I save it. For some reason, every time I X out of the planner and I want to go back in just to the practice, I have to do the whole process all over again. So once that
I know what your issue is, because that happens to me a lot, because I have a lot of random Google accounts that are for like demonstrating and tutorials. Always click over here on your little picture icon thing.
Okay.
And see what account you're signed into. Whatever account owns the planner, or is like that's the one you were signed into when you copied it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I mean, and it's making you authorize it every time.
Yes, because I X out, so I'm not sure if I'm saving it. Where am I supposed to save it? On my desktop or?
Oh, good point. Okay, I see what you're saying. So everything in Drive, it automatically saves. So I have this tab open right here. It says my planner 223. What I would do is, I made my changes to my feedbacks and all that stuff. And like, let's say I wanted to, just for example, I'm going to type the word hello right here in this box. And I don't need to do anything because it says right here, all changes saved. So Google automatically changes your things that you type. So if I exited out and I didn't do anything to it, I didn't save it or anything, and let's say I want to open up that tab again. Let's see, recently closed. So if I open this up and I go back to the feedback tab, I'm going to see that hello still there. Okay. So Google is a little bit different than like, say, see, there it is right there. Hello. And then Google is different than like a, Microsoft.
It's not like a
thing.
Word document that you need to save as. Okay. So
and that's why Heather suggested opening up your planner itself. You're opening up your planner itself in your browser, because then all of your changes that you made on your desktop will be reflected on that document when you open it on your mobile device. And Chuck, this is too much for me to type, but I was going to say, it's not, so I use an external mic. It's a Yeti Nano. It definitely was a game changer. I'll type it for you. Yeti Nano. There we go. Yeah, it's an external mic, USB or something, but my headphones I use in class are actually horrible sound quality. That's why I got the external mic, but now I have a great setup. Okay, so let's see. Any questions for me? And do you have any questions about these basic functions that are really tripping you up, or you need help with?
On the favorites, when you go down and you can see all the classes, why is level 2 in there twice?
Good question. I love it. That's a great question. So we really need to take out the second set. The thing is we about a year, well, maybe it was more than a year ago. I think 2 years ago. The level 2 that you know now used to be called interactive level 2, because level 2 used to be static. I don't know if you've ever taught a static lesson before, but there used to be no moving parts in the slides. Like it was just like level 3, no moving parts. So, but the problem is that they were both called MC level 2 in the portal. So how were we going to differentiate, because the lessons were different? So what we did is that first we made interactive level 2, we made it IMC. And then for static, we just kept it the same, but then everybody kind of migrated over to interactive. And so we're at this point where nobody is using those resources anymore. So we really need to just take them out. The MCS is static.
I hid them I didn't
Good
delete
idea.
them because I was like, I noticed
That's right.
everything was posting to the one, and I didn't want to accidentally be scrolling down and be like, oh, it's just the
Yeah.
next lesson before or something, and then post
Exactly.
something and
Yeah.
then never be able to find it. You can
Exactly.
hide stuff, but you
Oh,
can't delete
totally.
it, right? Okay. I
Yeah.
don't want
So
to mess anything up, but
yeah,
like some
you
stuff
did
I'm
the
like,
right
I don't want to
thing.
see it. So,
I
okay.
actually on my planner have a lot of stuff hidden that I don't. So like I don't teach level 1, so I hide level 1.
Yeah, I did
And the
that.
way that you can do that is just like Heather. You can hide stuff with. That's all I teach.
Oh, wow.
So like if I don't want to see those trial classes on favorites anymore, I can just select multiple rows at a time and just select hide.
Yeah.
And this is way better to do than to delete it, because then if you delete it, it's going to, I'll just show you. I mean, we still have like 9 people in here. Just be warned, everyone, do not try to edit these lesson codes, because when I do that, it's going to, number one, not let me. Maybe it's not going to let me at all. That would be cool. Let me just change the text here. Okay, so if I make a change, it's going to blank out all of those codes that connect everything to my planner. So then when I go to my planner tab, it's going to have that disconnect. I'm not going to be able to see my favorites because it needs to have those codes to match.
Okay, so say you accidentally did that and you try to go back, your little back button, and it's like you did something and you're like, okay, I've really screwed this whole thing up. So what do you do?
So what you would next do is there's, well, first I definitely recommend going over to your assistant tab, because there's this little handy dandy flow chart over here, and it'll tell you exactly what to do in the steps that you need to take to do it. But just to tell you what I would do is I just know that anytime that something's not coming in, like it's supposed to be coming in, like it's supposed to show, all of those codes right there are populated by a formula. And so I can see that there's text in one cell where there's not supposed to be, I can see that typo. What I would do, honestly, is I would just backspace it.
Okay.
And it's going to bring it.
Oh, and then you're like,
it's going to bring it all back.
Okay. I did it once. I don't know what I did. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get anything to pull up.
Oh, no.
So I wound up going through
just
that
making
assistant
a new one.
And making a new one. But I didn't and just importing everything. But then my frozen stuff and my hidden stuff wasn't the right.
So
I had to redo it. So I just was.
Yeah. I wonder, you just gave me a thought on that, because if you do hide rows, when you use the assistant tab, did it paste into, like, did it match up correctly or no?
Everything matched fine. It was just not, it was no longer frozen. So then I just had like all those trials. I don't do trials. So I had to, I just hit it again. And then I resized a few of my columns.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally fine to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's totally fine to do. But yeah, another way that you can do it, any change you make to a Google document, and this goes for Google Slides, it goes for Sheets and Docs and all of that, you can actually use version history, and it records all of your changes that you make. And this is so useful. I actually use this version history all the time to make a change that I want to eventually save. Like maybe I tweak my planner a lot. I tweak my planner to test out new things for like the next update. And so, but then my planner's broken for class. Like, oh, it didn't work. It wasn't a good test. I got to fix that. So what I want to do is maybe save that. Like, okay, I was on the right track, but let me save that version real quick. So you can always like go into your version history and see all of your changes, and you can name them, the versions that you have. So like I could change.
So you could go back to
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I didn't
Really far back. It goes back to when
I just want to go back to the one where I accidentally made a mistake, which was probably the day before. Okay, that would be much.
Yeah, so just use that file version history, or if it's your favorite codes that are messing up, just backspace any text that's in that first column, just backspace it all, and it should pop back up. Another thing to note is that those favorites, those codes they're populated by a formula. So if you leave the document open on your desktop all day, or like me, maybe several days, which is not good to do. But if you leave your document open and you ever come to your computer and you see that all of them are they're gone, and you didn't do anything because you hadn't touched it all day, this means that you just need to refresh your browser. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I've got a probably like 2 or 3 more minutes of me time before my little tot wakes up. So, and I think my husband's snoring on the couch in there. I can kind of hear him. So I should probably go.
Thank you for your help. I appreciate it. This was very, very
You're
informative.
welcome.
Thank
Well,
you.
good. I'm super
Thank
glad
you.
you guys enjoyed it. And I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you next time. Okay.